What's up everybody, you're watching Model Aviator, I'm Adam. This week we're going to be reviewing E-Flite's Cirrus SR22T 1.5 meter bind and fly basic. Horizon promises a fast, easy, glueless assembly. It should be easy to take off and land. It has rugged landing gear with oversized tires for grass ops. It should have excellent slow and high speed flight characteristics and be capable of scale, sport, and high energy aerobatics. Fair enough. Let's get into it. The assembly is simple. As you can see, there's a very low part count. They're going to start you with the main gear legs. Each one simply slides into a slot and you secure it with 2 bolts. Then you'll move to the nose gear, but you have to gain access to work. So you're going to have to take the hatch off and slide the magnetic cowling forward to get it out of your way. Then you can put your nose gear leg into the hole on the bottom of the airplane and secure your control horn and push rod with a single Phillips head screw. They'll then take you to the horizontal. There's a single carbon spar there. You simply slide them in place and secure each side with a single screw. Then they'll take you to the main wing. There's also a single carbon spar there. You slide each side in, and when you do, it makes all the electronic connections for you. You simply secure each wing with 2 bolts per wing. The only thing left at that point is to install your prop adapter, your prop, and your spinner, and then you're left with the scale bits. The steps and the antennas install with screws. There is a single antenna underneath that attaches to the hatch that gives you access to your rudder and elevator servos and the quick connects. This is the second version of the Cirrus, and it's been upgraded quite a bit over the original. It has a 59-inch wingspan. It's 39 inches long. Our example weighs 3 pounds, 8.8 ounces with a Spectrum Smart 4S 2230C pack. It's outfitted with an E-Flite BL10 brushless outrunner, 800 kV. It has an Avian 60 amp brushless Smart ESC. It's outfitted with Spectrum 330R and S330R servos and has a Spectrum AR637TA receiver. It's intended to fly on 3 and 4S 2200 to 3200 milliamp packs. Of course, you get AS3X and optional Safe Select. If you use a compatible Spectrum transmitter, you can program reverse through the ESC programming. And if you add a compatible Spectrum Smart Pack to that, you get to take advantage of full telemetry, including flight log information, and minimum and maximum receiver voltage, minimum and maximum ESC performance, on the fly ESC status, your smart battery info, a G meter, as well as AS3X and safe telemetry. The Cirrus is a 5-channel airplane. You have your standard 3-axis control, throttle, and flaps. And the flaps on this one are pretty special. They're slotted flaps, but they also act somewhat like a Fowler flap, in that when you deploy them, not only do they come down, but they come out, adding wing area, and that makes them very effective slowing this thing down. It also has one of the nicest LED light sets that I've ever seen. It's very scale, has an interior light, landing, navigation lights. It is awesome. We'll feature those lights as well as show you how effective the flaps are when we get to the flying. The setup's pretty simple, and the manual's a great place to start. In fact, we did what was suggested for the most part. We made a couple changes. Our elevator compensation for the flaps is a little bit different than the manual suggests, and we put our push rod for our rudder in the innermost hole on the control horn to get a bit more throw on the rudder. Other than that, it is pretty much per the manual for high rates. We didn't bother setting a low rate, and we didn't activate safe because we knew for what we were doing with the plane, we wouldn't need it. So as usual, our full setup info page will be right before the flying. Speaking of flying, time to get to it. And I enjoyed this airplane. This airplane's fun to fly. We tested pretty much everything. We did fly it on 3-cell, although what you're going to see is 4-cell 2200 and 3200. After the flying, we'll tell you what we think of it on 3-cell. We're going to feature the lights with some near dark flying. You'll get a kick out of that. The light package is amazing. We tested it off smooth surface and grass, and we did all the different types of flying that Horizon promised it can do well. We did slow flight, we did some scale stuff, we did some sport aerobatics, and some things a bit more aggressive. So check this flying out, and we'll see you back here and give you our final thoughts. Enjoy. The Cirrus takes advantage of the nose wheel configuration, and that gear configuration makes nice long scale takeoffs much easier. The Cirrus is very easy to fly slow. It's very comfortable and stable, and the flaps are really effective. Here we'll demonstrate the contrast in speed: slow left to right and fast right to left. As you can see, it's not lacking giddy up and vertical, and has some end-over-end tumbling capability as well. Those rolls were full deflection. It's not exactly an Edge 540, but that's plenty of roll rate for good sport aerobatics. I love how from out of nowhere you can just nonchalantly tumble the crap out of this thing. It's very entertaining. I wasn't pleased with my little bobble on approach, so I'm going to go around and give it another go. I'm not trying to brag, but damn, that was pretty. Speaking of pretty, I've always thought that the full-scale Cirrus just had smooth, sexy lines, kind of in the same way a Ferrari does. The model really does the full-scale brother justice, and the light kit just sets it off that much more. Forgot to fly it inverted in the main demo, so here you go. For what it's worth, it's every bit as stable inverted as it is right side up. So obviously this is all about showing off the lights, and if you look close you can actually see the interior light. And if you saw that little bobble right there, that is because I'm flying the heavier 3200. You'll notice that the airplane still flies really well slow even with the heavier battery. But I've been flying a 2200 pretty much all afternoon, and it does take a little bit of an adjustment to make up for the weight, but still, as you can see, performs very well slow.
It's not quite as dark as it looks like it is. We actually set the exposure on the camera to make the lights pop. That said, there's enough of them that if you really paid attention, you probably could fly this thing in complete darkness. Punch and go takeoff, knife edge spin, big slip to landing because, you know, why not?
And there you go. I told you those lights were cool, didn't I? Anyway, had a good time with this airplane. So, flight impressions. When it comes to the 3-cell stuff, we didn't get footage of it on 3-cell because the day I flew it on 3-cell, Heidi couldn't be there, unfortunately. I can tell you that if you look at the setup page, we did do watts per pound figures, so you can kind of see the difference in power, 4-cell versus 3-cell. And it's fine. You can do the scale flying, you can do the slow flying, you can do sport aerobatics. It will do a loop from level flight, it will fly inverted. You can even throw the tail over the nose, but if you want to really do aggressive tumbles and if you want to do really big, huge scale maneuvers, you're going to need the added vertical that 4-cell provides. I also noticed that trying to fly the airplane the same way as much as possible, I did get more flight time out of 4-cell because I was in it a lot less for the more benign stuff, and I had to be in it a lot more on 3-cell to get it to do the stuff it will do on 4-cell at, you know, 70 or 80% throttle. So we prefer the 2200 and 3200 4-cell for that reason. Now, one thing I can tell you that surprised me, we talked about throwing the tail over the nose. I'm amazed that a Cirrus can tumble like that. That is just kind of a bonus. It's really cool that you can do that, whether you like doing that or not. It's cool that it will. And when it comes to the slow flight, this thing slows down like a cub. The combination of the slotted / Fowler effect of these flaps and this big wing, honestly, it's like flying a Cub with a little less rudder authority when you get it slow. It's just rock solid, no bad habits, and really inspires confidence there. It's easy to take off and land, and as you saw, it does well off grass. And that grass we were taking off from it was short, but that ground's pretty rough. The bigger tires on this Cirrus handled that just fine. Horizon says that this is a skill level 2 airplane, and I agree. It could possibly be skill level 1. You could turn this thing down and technically use it as a trainer because it is easy to fly. But I agree with the skill level 2 because this is a nice airplane and it's got really nice features. And this is something that you're going to want to move into when you've mastered a trainer. Doink that thing up and move into something like this as your second airplane when you've gotten rid of all the bad habits, so to speak. It's just a nice airplane, and it's a lot of airplane for the price point. For $299.99, even if you don't want to take advantage of some of the electronic goodies like the telemetry and the reverse, it's such a good solid flying airframe. I think that alone is worth every penny, at least in my opinion it is. I really enjoyed this airplane, and I think you will too. And if you decide that you'd like to get one, we're a Horizon Hobby affiliate. There's a link in the description. You click and go through that. That supports our channel. When you do that, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. That's pretty much it. All I can say is we liked it, and I think you will too. So take care of yourselves. Happy flying. We'll see you next week with something else cool with wings.